Cast and Chill is not slowing down with updates anytime soon, as they've just released their new winter update. This adds the brand new region, Lake Hunkerdown, to the game, along with a new mode of transportation and even another new companion. This means I will be trading in the Pensive Pond ice fishing hut in the long dark for something with a better view. This is the new Cast and Chill update, Lake Hunkerdown. Let's go fishing. As I gear up to go fishing, I won't be taking the new St. Bernard companion, Bernie, with me, but instead I will once again be taking my good bud Doug, who, if you remember, was with me during my first Cast and Chill adventure. This run starts off by immediately visiting my favorite shop owner. After my last excursion, I am very flush with cash, so of course I had to spread my wealth. After tipping Rusty one of my hard-earned dollar bills, he tells me of this fantastic lake just a bit up north. Heck, he even gave me a new rod to try out while I'm there. Along with being able to catch fish with this frost stick, I can also use it to break through the solid foot of ice that covers the lake. I must also purchase the Snow Wolf XT1, an old style snowmobile that will be my mode of transportation across the ice. Once out onto the lake, I was looking a bit chilly. I was so underdressed, in fact, that if you can't tell, I caught a real life cold. Now's a good time to show you the new additions to the character customization. Instead of pre-made characters to choose from, you can now choose your own headwear, your own fit, and even your own friend. Even though I love Doug, this St. Bernard is so cute. Instead of having fun, however, I decided to continue with the fit I started with, for brand recognition, of course.
These nuts!
I then took quite a long drive out to the other end, and man, was this lake huge. This sled seemed to be a tad slow, however, but for the year this thing was made, I shouldn't judge it too much. It's trying its best. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the beautiful pixel art backdrop. Check this shit out. I know I said in the last video that the new Autumnwood Lake region was the most beautiful region in the game, but now that I'm driving across this lake, I think it has some stiff competition. And in CNC-like fashion, this region has plenty of cute little creatures for me to enjoy, like these snow hares and this very sly snow fox. I found what I thought was a nice little spot to drop my lure in, and to my surprise, I got off the sled and walked around. I mean, of course I'd have to in order to drill a hole into the ice, but I've only ever seen me sitting in a boat, so I was shook. Before drilling the hole, I did have to take this opportunity to run around as Doug chased closely behind. Once over the initial amazement of a simple new mechanic, I found a spot in the ice to drill into using my frost stick, and then promptly plopped a seat down. This gave me the achievement Icebreaker. The first few fish I had discovered were mainly just repeats of other regions, just as Autumnwood Lake had been. But no worries, I knew there would be a brand new beast lurking in the lake somewhere. Something else that I had found amusing was whenever I was in a struggle with a fish, it would always try to breach the surface, as they would have in any other region. But since the ice was there, they all kept bonking their heads. Now with my first load of fresh caught northern pike ready to be filleted, I get back on the sled and, oh no, Doug, my sweet boy. I left him all the way back. Oh, never mind, there he is. For some reason, when I got off my sled, Doug changed colors, or became an entirely different dog somehow. Not sure what he's going through here, but whatever it is, I love that for him and 100% support his decisions. Next, I was going for the whole dozen achievement. This is where I must catch 12 fish through a single hole in the ice. As I was doing this, however, the music started getting really daunting. It reminded me that winter truly is here, and there actually is a snowstorm blowing outside my house right now. I was lucky enough that I could leave my hole while I went to Rusty's shop and it wouldn't freeze over by the time I came back. After doing this several times, because my inventory at this time wasn't very big, I had finally caught 12 fish from one hole and gained the achievement. Now, all that was left to do was find and land the trophy weight tiger muskie. But first, let me take a moment to yap. While I briefly touched in my last video on the new casting and line visual enhancement updates, I need to talk about how the overall fishing mechanic in this game takes a more laid-back approach to fishing than your average fishing sim. Instead of focusing on realistic gear management or quick time events to successfully catch a fish, CNC instead employs a smooth cast and reel flow built around vibes. What I mean by this is while the game does have rod and bait specific requirements to catch some types of fish, there isn't anything like stamina bars or multi-step events in order to reel in your dinner.
Oh shit, oh this fish is like fucking me up.
You rely solely on the tension in the line. There's no meters clogging up your screen, just your line and the fish. Additionally, with the idle mode function, Cast and Chill strips the process of grinding out fishing hours on end for a leave the game on for an hour and come back to enough moolah to spend on the next fishing license. While this wasn't my idea of fun, it allowed me to simultaneously write my script and make a pretty penny at the same time. The result of this function effectively turns CNC into a hybrid between a fishing game and an incremental idler. The lack of story or narrative also plays into the chillness of this game, just like as stated in this Reddit post. Just don't read too far into it or you may lose the plot. I searched in a couple places for where the tiger muskies congregate, but to no avail. By this time, I had discovered and caught all other available fish in the region. My efforts to find the tiger muskies so far were fruitless. That was until I broke through by the frozen waterfall. Here, I found 2 large tiger muskies, which filled out the remainder of my fishing index. But whenever I tried catching them, I couldn't hang on to them because my rod was just too small. Does this sound a little familiar, fellas? If that's the case, you should try subscribing. I hear that does wonders for increasing rod size. Or you could just visit Rusty. You see, he had a brand new, even larger pole for me to feast my eyes on. I've never seen one this big before. This was the hard water howler. This puppy can haul up the fattest beasts in the coldest of temperatures. Now equipped with the howler and the deep crankbait lure, I had now the perfect combo to land that monster tiger muskie. But first, I had to find him. After snoozing for a bit to find the time that this monster would be rolling in the deep, I found him during the light of the full moon. It was with great contempt and steady hands that I casted back into the icy depths below. My line dangled in front of his massive jowls. It was too tempting for even a beast of his stature. He fell for my trap, and a brawl did ensue. Front to back, side to side, this massive tiger muskie was thrashing every which way. He was looking for an escape, and without a way above water, there was no way I could gain any ground from a breach. It was just me and the beast. I thought from the frozen depths below, he might have been dormant, too tired and too cold to fight back, but I couldn't have been more wrong. The fight felt like hours. It was so long that the sun was beginning to rise. Eventually, it would shine light onto this crystallized lake, but for now, we fought. The other tiger muskies were oblivious to this battle, or unwilling to help in his time of need. Perhaps this monster was hogging all of the females to himself, and so they too saw him as a threat. Perhaps this is the karma that they said would come for him, or maybe this was just the circle of life. Finally, a break in his armor. Exhausted, he let up for just a moment, giving me an opportunity to lay in the beast that lurks beneath the ice. After that hard-fought battle, Doug got some good rubs for cheering me on. Bringing this monster back to Rusty, I thought I was getting the biggest payday yet, but my dreams were quickly shattered like ice. For all my hard work, I got a measly $600. I guess the economy isn't doing so great these days. How am I supposed to support me and my good boy like this? Very well then, I guess without an income, I'll have to live off the land instead. So I grabbed my rifle and headed out to grab dinner for both Doug and I. I traversed into one of my favorite trusted hunting spots, only to spy a massive doe. This would surely feed Doug and I for days. The Long Dark is a game I'm mostly known for, but aside from the daring survival challenges I face, I am a huge fan of just relaxing in my cozy warm base. And I think that's why Cast and Chill has roped me in so much. Even with the stress of trying to make specific catches, the point of the game is to just chill and hang with your dog. And that's why it was never about the money. It was always about finding a good fishing spot and hanging out with my best friend in the world. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe and check out my Cast and Chill playlist over here. And if you have any other cozy games I should play, comment them down below. Thanks for watching.